Hello, it's Karen Burniston here with an assembly video for one of my die sets, number 1009, the Twist Panel pop-up. And you can check out all of my designs at karenburniston.com. If you are at all familiar with my earlier work, you may know that I have taught this technique before as an adaptation of my Twist Circle die set. I had lots of people just ask me, could it be its own die set so they didn't have to do so much hand cutting? So that's what this set does. 15 pieces in the die set, everything you need to make a really impressive card. So I've placed those dies on a magnet sheet to help me with the video today, and I'm going to start by cutting the base of the pop-up. So for that one, I'm going to need this die here, and then the piece that does the arms. Card size is always up to you with my die sets. For my example today, I'm going to do an A2 top fold card. So I've got a piece of cardstock, 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the center. And then I'll also need a card for the inside that holds the pop-up. So that one's going to be a little smaller. I've decided on 3 3/4 for the width and 9 inches for the length, again scored in the center. The pop-up base gets cut into the inner card, and you use the alignment nubs to line it up perfectly over the fold. And I just centered it here. Your width on that die is 5 inches, so if you go wider than 5 inches for your inner pop-up card, you'll have to extend the cuts yourself. So generally just keep your inner card less than 5 inches, and then you don't have to worry about extending any cuts. I can remove the die and then train those diagonal folds. And the easiest way to do that is to fold the card in half first, and then you can just fold on the diagonals to train those. So I'm just going to take one side, fold on the diagonal, and then the other side, fold on the diagonal. And then everything needs to come back to its original position because that was just about training the folds. Since this is a solid cardstock, it really wouldn't matter which way was up, but I'll just be consistent and go with the way I originally cut it. So what I want to do is I want to have those two wings fold into the card like this. That's all there is to it. It's really quite simple to train the base of this pop-up. I switched to the other die to cut 2 arm pieces for the pop-up, and those have a fold line right up the middle of the piece. So I just want to work that fold. Completely optional, but you could even use a bone folder to really get a nice crisp fold on those arm pieces. Then I want to flatten them back out again because where they're going to go is going to be glued here to the base pop-up card. But before I do that, I've actually decided for another little detail, I'm going to use the edge die that comes in the set. This one will create a little wavy edge with a dot detail, and I'm going to use that on both ends of my inner pop-up card. You'll want a good strong adhesive to use when attaching the arms to the pop-up base. And I'm going to use glue. I've got my fine line 20 gauge bottle filled with Lineco neutral pH adhesive. You could also use a strong tape or some glue dots. I just happen to really like glue for this. And it's really easy to line up the arm. You just make sure that the point is right in the point. The edges are along those cut edges, so very, very easy to line these up. And then I'll just repeat that process for the other side to get the other arm attached. And then it's just a matter of training those arms to fold with the base. So if you just pinch those like mountains again, as the card closes, you'll see that it'll collapse them down into the correct position in the closed position. Really super easy. You can take your bone folder to get some nice crisp folds. Now let me prepare the ends of those arms to get the panels later. I'm going to look for the side that has the little notch. That also happens to be the side that has that straight box corner versus that clipped diagonal edge. So it's the side that has the notch that you would want your good strong double-sided tape. The tape starts at the notch and then goes out to the end of the arm. Now I've got pretty skinny tape, so I've decided to use 2 strips. I really want a good connection later on with my panels. Now I'm going to collapse down my pop-up card and get it ready for adding into the backing card. Now in the folded position it comes to a point, and that point would line up right in the center of the card, but you can also, as an option, clip it off. And what that does is it creates this little hole in the center of the card, and that makes it really easy to align it right over the fold of the backing card. Since I have a large surface area, I'll be able to use a tape runner, but I do want to be very generous with my tape runner so that I have a very good tight bond between the inner pop-up card and the outer backing card. I like to do 1/2 at a time. I need to flatten down my inner pop-up card so that I get the centers of the arms. The fold across the center of the arm is right over the fold of the card. I can look down through that hole that I made to be able to make sure that I'm directly over the fold of the backing card, that I've got a good even border on the sides, and then I can press that side down. Then adhering the other half of the pop-up card is just a matter of collapsing it down. Again, being very generous with my tape runner so that I will get a nice good bond between the pop-up card and the backing card. Just opening it up, making sure the center folds of the arms are right over the fold of the backing card and that the pop-up card is straight, and then just pressing down that side. So really not hard at all. I've got my pop-up base done and it's ready now for panels. This is the die that creates the panel strip, and you need 2 of them. So if your cardstock isn't too thick, you should be able to stack up the cardstock underneath the die and cut through 2 layers at once. Now, what die cutting machine? Any of your major die cutting machines will cut these dies. Just make a sandwich for a wafer thin design. I'm using a Sizzix Big Shot. So the way this die works is it cuts 2 of the panels and then a side tab, and you take one and you rotate it around, and then the 2 side tabs are towards the center. So when you valley fold between the 2 panels and then make a mountain fold of your tab, the 2 tabs join to the other side, just like this, to create that strip of 4 panels. And glue or tape works, whatever you like for adhesive on that. And then I can fold in the center, just give it a little check, make sure that I've lined everything up nicely, and give it a really good press. And then it will be an accordion folded strip of 4 panels. So valley folds on the outside, mountain fold in the center. Another tip from me, if you just take some scrap cardstock and cut 1 panel of your panel strip and keep it with your die set, you can fold that in half, and that can be used every time you make one of these cards to very quickly make a little pencil mark that's right in the center of the outside panels. So the pencil mark is optional. I'm just saying I have found it very helpful to get good placement on the panels when I attach them to the arms, because it really is just 1/2 of the arm that gets the tape. So then by having the pencil line, I can align that up right on the fold of the arm, and then I know that I've got that panel strip centered across the arms. So same thing on the other side, peel up the tape so that the end of the arm is sticky. Just make sure that that pencil mark is right at the fold of the arm and give it a good press. So just really simple to get a good placement. And then I can just erase those pencil lines. So I usually do it this way, where I add my panels and then decorate afterwards, because I can still get it pretty flat for decorating. First time folding it with the panels in place, you want your hands and thumbs really close to the fold of the card. See where my hands are? I'm folding from the center. That's the best way to fold this card, especially when you don't have very much decoration on it yet. Speaking of decorations, there's lots of choices in the die set. A nice solid rectangle here. Then there's one that is scalloped with a dot edge. That one's kind of fun to take and cut out of 2 different colors and then use the edge die along one of the colors to make an accent piece that perfectly fits the other. And of course, color styling, it's all up to you. So I'm going to make my rectangle panel decoration and get those glued onto my card. And I love how generic this card is, that you can use it all year round for any occasion. The die set comes with a pop-up heart, and it is optional, but it's kind of a fun way to add even more interactivity to the card. The little feet fold under, and then there's a mountain fold up the middle. Now, it's the fold under feet that get the adhesive, so I would probably suggest glue for that, since they're small little triangles, and you just want to make sure you get a nice good layer of glue on those 2 little fold under feet. And you can invert the fold up the center to make it easy to align the heart down in the valley fold of the panel set. So it can go anywhere along those valley folds, 1 on each side, or just 1 on one side, or 2 on one side, whatever you want to do. Once you have them attached, then you can pop the center fold to be a mountain again. And then what you'll find is that as you close the card, the pop-up hearts will fold down and then pop up when the card is open. These 4 dies in the set can be combined to make some really nice banners, and I've done that already and strung them onto some baker's twine. And then now it's just a matter of adding those to my card. And those banners can go anywhere, but one of my favorite places to put them is to cut a little slit in the topmost part of the heart and use that to trap the twine. Now I don't want that strand to be too tight because it needs to be able to go up and over the little mountain in the center of the panels. But for securing it, I really just need a little bit of tape now on the back of the hearts to hold the ends of the twine permanently, and then I don't need any additional adhesive. The banner strand is just connected to the hearts, and it has enough slack to where it can collapse down with the card and then pop up. Let me walk you through what I did to finish out my panels. I added more of the banner strands out on the other side of the heart and then connected with that same little slit idea on the sides of the panels. Then I just added the words for Thanks My Friend using word set number 1 and some more of those hearts that come with the die set. Now for adding other decorations to the inside of the card, I have to watch where the panels slide down, and I have to make sure I avoid those areas. You see where the panels are sliding? If you put anything right in that area, then it can become a catch point. So if I'm going to add, for instance, ribbon, I just need to make sure that it's just above where those panels are going to slide across the edge of the card. Same thing at the bottom. I want to just make sure I'm low enough to where I'm not going to impede the opening and closing of the card. Now, even though my card was an A2, I went up to an A6 envelope because it's pretty thick. And because of that, I'm probably going to have to spend extra postage, but it is worth it because someone is going to be so impressed with a card like this. Now, I did add cardstock panels to the front and the back of my card to kind of stiffen it up. That really helps with the operation. And then I just used the pieces that come in the die set to create a fun lead-in on the front of the card. And then when it opens, of course, it's going to pop up. I only had to use one extra decorator die. That's the words. Everything else just came in the set. So dies are an investment, but with this one having 15 dies in it, you do have everything you need to make an impressive card. But of course, I also try and design dies in my collection that can coordinate across many sets. So in this case, I added the words from the word set 2 birthday, the cute little charms from the birthday charms, and the adorable little woodland animals die set. So all of those fit nicely on the twist panel. If you click on the website link, you'll go to KarenBurniston.com. You'll find information about where you can purchase these dies, as well as links to all of my other social media accounts. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out some of my other videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.